Hello friends and welcome. So most all you all know I was in West Yellowstone, Montana doing some cross-country skiing, and most mornings when I woke up just to get my body moving and prepped and ready for cross-country skiing, this is the sequence that I did pretty regularly. So I'm just going to share that with you, and that way hopefully it's a great one for you. You could do it, in the day after you go out and you're active. You could do it in the beginning, and even if you're not active, you're still getting into some good stuff. So we're going to start laying down on our backs. So just come on down onto your back. Pardon me, I'm just going to move my mic pack and also make sure I didn't just turn my mic off when I laid on top of it. I did not. This is great. Okay, so from your back, I'm going to have you come into constructive rest pose rather than full shavasana, just so we start to get that internal rotation of the thighs. So I walk my feet out wider than my hips, probably no wider than the mat, something like that. You'll feel it out. And then let your knees lean in towards one another. You probably hear Hunter, she's talking. And then go ahead and let those arms come out a little bit, palms up. So the upper body is shavasana, right? And just scan through the body briefly. Do a quick check-in and see where you're starting from. There's only one place to start from, and that's the place where you are. And as you scan through, maybe working towards finding contentment, right, with wherever it is you're starting from. And then go ahead and walk your feet. Don't leave your feet where they are. Let your knees come back up. Sorry, Hunter's cracking me up right now. She is very verbal and with a weird meow. So let your right knee fall over and to the left, right? But try to keep your right hip fairly grounded. And then as I do that, of course, my femur bone is moving into internal rotation. And we're just starting to warm up those external hip rotators, or lengthen them, not so much warm them up, I guess. And bring the right knee back up. Let that left knee fall over to the right. And again, it's just going to kind of hang in. Keep that hip fairly grounded. Doesn't have to be super, rigid, but it is staying in place. Bring that back up. So some of my friends, that's plenty, right? Keep the feet flexed with the next place we're going for knee protection. Some of us, we let the right knee fall over, and then we're going to walk our right foot a little further to the right and let that knee fall a little further into place, yeah? And again, keep the foot flexed so we keep the knee. The idea of the foot flexed is it helps the ligaments and tendons of the knee turn on, so it keeps it protected in strange positions. Lateral particularly. Bring that right knee up, walk the right foot back into hip mat distance. Let the left knee fall into the center, and maybe that left foot walks out a little bit to the left, and then flex the foot and let the leg drop in again, keeping that left hip pretty stable. And just check out this side and notice what's happening there. Again, knee joint pain, just not worth it. Don't go into it. Let the knee lift first. Walk the feet, both of them now, into hip distance. Bring your right knee in towards your chest and give it a little hug. I like to start by my knee first and let my low back round a little bit. And then I'm going to slide my hands down a little further onto my leg, upper mid shin, somewhere in there you'll find it hopefully, where my tailbone gets a little heavy again, but I widen my low back. Interlace behind the right thigh, push the right heel up to the sky, and then push the thigh into the hands. And hopefully you're getting traction in your low back. And yes, also the back of the right leg is lengthening. Let's take our right foot and start to move it through a slow, broad circle. And go ahead and go the other way. Anytime we start to get really active, we want those ankles ready. And then go ahead and flex the foot, push the heel up one more time. Now, straighten your left leg out. You could leave the knee on the ground. activate the left leg. And I'm going to put my left hand on my left thigh. Take an inhale. With an exhale, I'm going to push my low belly down and start to lift my upper body up a little bit, tucking my chin in, and just taking a moment there just to start to warm up my abdominal area. Lower the upper body down. Keep the left leg active. Keep a little bit of that abdominal strength, and release the right leg over to the right. I'm bringing my elbow down, right? And I'm going to rest my leg in my hand a little bit. You could use more strength and not use the right arm, right? Take a breath. And bringing that right leg up. If I know I'm about to go out and do a whole bunch of activity, right? We're going to move the right leg over to the left just a little bit, keeping the right hip heavy. If I know that I'm going to be really active, say going cross-country skiing, I don't feel like I need to put in a ton of work in the morning before I go, like in my practice, right? Again, where do you find balance? If you're going to push yourself physically in a little bit, do you need to push yourself physically right now? And then I'm going to move into a twist. So roll onto your left side body and let that right leg come over only to the height of the hip. So don't go to the ground. Bring that right arm out to the shape of a half T. Turn your head to the right and look back towards that. And if you can, imagine in that mid-body, about your belly button level. From the belly button up, you're twisting to the right. From the belly button down, you're twisting to the left. Keep moving that right hip forward towards the left heel, and then go ahead and come all the way back up. Using a little bit of core, bring your arms by your side, point the toes and flex the foot. Keep doing that. You know this one pretty well. We do this a lot. And we're going to lower down to the ground. Take your time with that, even though I'm not counting. And then once you get there, soften everything. Take a moment and just notice. Both feet on the ground, knees bent. And I'm going to start by hugging that left knee in towards my chest. And again, purposefully hugging the knee itself and allowing that tailbone to get really light and probably lift up a little bit as my low back rounds down. And then I'm going to move my hands down a little bit, see if I can find my tailbone gets a little heavier, but my low back still widens. Interlace behind the thigh, push that left heel up to the sky. And once you find that, go ahead and push the thigh forward into the hands. Now my leg is straight, but that doesn't mean yours will be, right? It can be bent as long as you're working the leg towards straight. Take another breath from there. And then circle your left big toe. And again, try to find your widest range of motion. And go the other way. Push that heel up one more time. Put your left hand outside the left leg. Extend your right leg out and activate it. Right hand on right thigh, inhale. With an exhale, the low belly is what lifts the upper body. So don't just throw the head up and wrench the neck, right? Push the low belly down. And as the low belly pushes down, it's going to help the upper body come up. Take another breath. And then lower the body down. Go ahead and keep that right thigh working, even as you start to release the left leg out to the left. Feel free to use the left hand for a support system today. Right, as that right thigh pushes down, I hug my outer left hip in, some of the usual suspects. Push through the inner right heel. And bringing that back up. I'm going to move over to the right a little bit while keeping my left hip grounded. And this is for that outer thigh, hip, back of knee, whatever you're feeling area. Right. And then moving it into a twist. Roll onto your right hip. Let that left leg go over to the right, but only as high as the hip, if even there, right? Just meaning don't go lower. Maybe that left arm tees out and you turn your head to the left. And again, from your waist, imagine you have a split at your belly button. Your upper body twists to the left, your lower body twists to the right, and always, always that elongation, at least in my world, right? Where that left hip moves forward towards the right heel to keep that side waist nice and long. Breathe. And then bring that hip back down. I'm going to readjust myself real quick. Arms by the side, palms down, point the toes and flex the foot. And keep doing that as you lower that left leg down, finding that pelvis stability, the corset, the pelvic floor, the outer hips. Soften everything for a moment. Feet on the ground, knees bent, feet hip distance. Push into the feet and roll the spine up. First one, we're going to grab the edges of our mat and rock our shoulders underneath us. And then push the mat forward towards your heels, but equally pull your heels back towards your hands, right? So they pull towards each other, hands forward, feet back. And just feeling those hamstrings turn on, the chest open, whatever else it is that you feel. And lower down and pause. So you might choose to do that one again. You might choose to interlace. You notice if you're like always want to push yourself to that maximum place right off the bat. But I need the sensation. I got to feel it. I got to get the deepest place, right? Let go of that. Go ahead and roll up one vertebrae at a time, either grabbing the edges of the mat or interlacing your hands, which I'm not showing, but you're welcome to do. And again, I like this version, right, because it's that push-pull that I can get with the use of the mat. So I'm going to push the mat forward. That slides on my shoulder blades further down my back. I get that chest opening. And then I'm going to pull my heels back towards my hands, or my shoulders, I could say, right? So I feel my hamstrings start to kick in to support my low body. Take another breath. And go ahead and lower down one vertebrae at a time. And pause. Now, if it's okay to just roll up, rolling like a ball, you're going to roll up to seated. If you need to come up a different way, you should totally do that. I'm going to stay sideways because I don't know why. I feel like this is a better view. And you know it well enough, right? So my right shin is in front of my left. I'm going to get really tall and long in my spine, and then letting my pelvis start to fold me forward. So moving in towards that buttocks area. Maybe rocking a little bit from right to left. Actually, I am going to turn and face you for this next piece now that I think about it. And then from there, go ahead and start to move over towards your right, reaching that left arm forward. And bring the right hand out to the side, kind of the outside of the hip, right? And then roll open and reach that left arm overhead, and you can come to the cactus shape. And then go ahead and bring that back down to approximately where you were. Doesn't have to be an exact science. And roll open. And down. Now walk over towards the other side. And again, I'm going to reach that left arm forward and away, as we often do. Right arm. And I'm going to bring the left hand over to support me for this next piece, right? And then I'm going to kind of roll my ribs open as I swing my arm over, and I'm going to bring it into the cactus arm shape. And then back down to where you started-ish. And roll that open. And coming back down and through. Middle. Reach the chest forward to come up. Other shin in front, that'd be your left shin. Get long and fold forward, and maybe rocking just a little bit back and forth. We'll go to the left first this time. Bring that left hand into place to support you, and inhale, open. And exhale, down. Inhale, open. Exhale down, you'll walk through center, over to the right. Get that right hand in place, and then inhale, open. One more. Come through center, inhale the chest forward, and come on up. Come on to hands and knees. Actually, I'm going to stay turned this way so I'm closer to my mic. My mic patch is a mess right now. And inhale, chest forward. Exhale, round up. One more time like that. And then let your ribs roll in a circle. right? Down, to the left, up, and to the right, etc. And then when you feel like you're in a good place to do so, switch and go the other direction. And then come back to center. Now you're going to switch your heels, swoosh your shins to the left, and sit your right hip back towards the right, back up. Swish your heels to the right and swish that left hip kind of back. And really let it move back so you get that stretch in the outer hip, if that makes sense, yeah? And coming back through center, a downward facing dog. And feel free to pedal or move in any capacity, okay? That feels right for you. Or stillness if that's what feels right for you. And not always what you want. What you want isn't always what's going to balance you, right? So I really try to pay attention to what's going to balance me the most or help me find what I need that day. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees, grab your elbow points, drape the spine. Hands on the shins, halfway up. Exhale, fold. One more of those. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Hands on hips, elbows up. Inhale, come all the way up. Bring those arms down by the side and just pause for a moment. Notice what you notice. Eyes can be mostly closed or closed. Nice soft drishti or gazing point regardless of the eyelids. Almost like you're staring off into space. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. Inhale. And exhale, bow your head in, taking a moment of gratitude. Got this space and this time. Namaste, friends. So I often had another section that I did in that, but in the honor of trying to do 20-minute videos for all y'all, that'd still be a really great way just to wake your body up and get it ready for the day or for movement or whatever it is that you'd like. Be well, friends.